Russell Pearce is a Republican in Arizona who says he has a plan to fix public assistance programs in that state. And the way that he would do it would be by forcibly sterilizing poor women, controlling the diet of poor people, and constantly checking them for drug and alcohol use. Now, if you're not familiar with this guy, he used to be the president of the state Senate. He was eventually recalled because of corruption problems and also because he was involved in that extremely anti-immigrant, the draconian anti-immigration bill. But anyway, like I said, let's listen to some of these quotes about what he would do to fix their welfare problems in Arizona. The first thing he says is, you put me in charge of Medicaid, the first thing I'd do is get Norplant, birth control implants, or tubal ligations. Then we'll test recipients for drugs and alcohol, and if you want to reproduce or use drugs or alcohol, then get a job. First of all, we've apparently lost on the people on welfare using drugs and alcohol thing, because we have shown you multiple times on my program and on the Young Turks that they do these tests and it's an insanely low percentage. The idea that people are taking all these public funds and they're immediately turning it into Jaeger and meth, that's ridiculous, but we've lost. They're never going to accept that that's not happening. They have to imagine that if you are a poor person, you must be high and or drunk at the same time. Going on to the diet, he says, no cash for ding-dongs and ho-hos. You'd only get money for 15-pound bags of rice and beans, blocks of cheese, and powdered milk. All the powdered milk you can haul away. If you want a steak or frozen pizza, then you'd have to get a job. By the way, I don't know if he knows this. Go to a grocery store. Frozen pizza is like the cheapest thing in the world. That would seem to save a lot of money in terms of their money from welfare being turned into food. But anyway, look at the disdain there. Like, these people, like, oh, they're probably fat too. They're just eating ding-dongs and ho-hos, stuffing themselves full of frozen pizza. They also eat steak, apparently. Like, it's always a combination of they're buying, like, snowballs and nutty bars, and they're also eating steak and lobster all the time. I don't know why those two things are combined in their mind, but they have to demonize poor people from both sides. They're disgusting and low class, and they also try to live way beyond their means. Going on to government housing assistance, he says, ever live in a military barracks? You'll maintain your property in a clean, good state of repair, and your home will be subjected to an inspection at any time. Possessions will be inventoried. If you want a plasma TV or an Xbox 360, then get a job. So there, again, it's that they're both slobs and they can't maintain their lives, and you need to clean it and repair it, you fucking slobs. But at the same time, you're filled up with all these high-class electronics. You're playing your video games and you're watching your massive 3D curved Sony televisions. They have to attack on both sides. So I'm confused. I have to be honest to you up front. I'm confused because I thought that the Republican Party was the party of personal liberty and personal freedom. The idea that the government isn't going to come in and control your life when it comes to what you stuff in your gullet and what electronics you have in your home. And understand, he's not saying get rid of these programs. He might believe it privately. He's not saying get rid of them. He's saying use these programs as an excuse to control every aspect of poor people's lives. If you take $1, we get to control everything about you, from whether or not you ever are allowed to have a child, to whether or not you can consume high fructose corn syrup, and whether or not you can ever afford a Blu-ray of Frozen. So if you take $1, we are now your God. We are your commander, and we are going to control every part of your life. You better tuck in your bed sheets in the morning because your big brother is watching you now because you had the temerity to take government money when you fell on hard times. This is the party of personal freedom, the Libertarian Party. I don't understand how that works. Now, another thing that I love about the way that they're demonizing the poor is they seem to be implying that the problem is that the poor are dishonest. They say they need this money to pay for food, the bare necessities, and rent, but instead they turn it into wheeze and they turn it into candy bars and stuff like that. They're being dishonest. Let's talk about dishonesty. Let's talk about duplicity. And let's talk about it through the lens of the life of Russell Pearce. Now, Russell Pearce, on his job application back in 2011, said that he had attended graduate school at the University of Arizona. You contact the University of Arizona, he didn't do graduate school there. He was lying about it. He accepted $40,000 in paid junkets and college football tickets from Fiesta Bowl officials while he was working with them, but failed to report it. $40,000. You can buy a lot of steaks and frozen pizzas and Xbox 360s for $40,000, but he didn't feel the need to report it when he was getting that money for free. Also claimed to attend graduate school at Harvard University's John F. Kennedy School of Government. Didn't actually do that, went to a 3-week seminar, lied and pretended he'd gone to graduate school there. So this is a guy lecturing us about the lies and dishonesty of the poor, while he's lying about pretty much everything in his past and also accepting tons of free money. Let's go beyond the $40,000. He was working as for the Elderly Assistance Fund, basically like advertising for that in Maricopa County. That's a taxpayer-paid position. He's paid by the taxpayers to advocate for this program. You know how much he makes? $85,000 a year back when he was in that job. $85,000 a year. Now, look, he was doing a job. Certainly he earned some of that. But do you think he earned $85,000? No. I think he should be allowed to buy steaks and video game consoles with the first $20,000. But beyond that, we get to check everything he does. You better not be buying any Viagra or any kind of medicine for things we don't approve of. You better be eating healthy stuff. You know, you need to go like low carb, Mediterranean diet, I think. I think that's a good balance between health and how much money you spend. Don't be spending money on too many carbs, Russell Pearce. And if I go in your house, and I swear to God, if I find a Blu-ray player in your house, Russell Pearce, you lying sack of shit, you got to give that back to the taxpayers, because that is taxpayer money that you're turning into entertainment and surround sound speakers. That's dishonesty. His actual dishonesty versus the implied dishonesty of all the poor people in America who are on hard times after the worst economic collapse of 80 years, 70, 80 years. They need a little bit of assistance, and so he gets to play big brother. But when he lies to the taxpayers, when he lies in everything he's done in his past education and work-wise, that should be fine, and we should overlook it. Yeah, you like talking about the poor. How much do you like it when we talk about you?